Chapter 29. The next day Mama called. Bertha talked to her first, soft and low with her face toward the kitchen wall. "I know, Carla, but think of Charlie. Not fair." Finally, she gave the phone to me. "Hello?" I said, and felt like a baby. Why couldn't I be strong and sassy-mouthed like Jackie? Then Mama told me how she can't wait for me to come home, and she's been so lonely and nobody understands what she's been going through. And Jackie thinks she's so gall-darn grown up that she's not coming back home, and that's fine by me, she said. After that, she started on Scrappy. What a no-good-nothing he is, and how he left her high and dry. "Doesn't anybody ever think about me?" she said. I knew I wasn't really supposed to answer that, so I didn't. "Scrappy got a tattoo of a blackbird in a cage on the back of his hand," I said. And guess what happened next? She hung up. Click. Just like that. "What happened?" Bertha asked. I shrugged. I guess she didn't want to hear about that tattoo. Bertha stood there, slack-jawed, looking from me to the phone and then back at me. "Maybe all just got disconnected," she said. "I bet she'll call back." So we stood there staring at the phone while the refrigerator hummed and a cat purred beside us. But the phone didn't ring. Bertha shook her head. "Nothing ever changes with her," she said. "Carla, Carla, Carla. It's always about Carla." Then she grabbed me by the shoulders and said, "I'm sorry, Charlie. I shouldn't have said that." "It's okay." "No," she said. "No, it isn't. She's your mama." I wanted to ask Bertha if I really was going back to Raleigh, but I was scared to. Hadn't she said she would make things right? But what did that even mean anyway? I decided to walk down to the Odoms, hoping my swirling insides would settle down. I clipped Wishbone's leash to his collar, and we set off down the road. I let him stop every now and then to sniff a tangle of weeds or inspect a tin can on the side of the road. My swirling stomach didn't settle down until the Odoms' house came into view. Then, just the sight of it set things right again. That weed-filled yard was littered with balls and tools and shoes. Burl's legs stuck out from under his truck in the driveway. Music from a radio drifted out of Mr. Odom's shop in the garage. Cotton was lining up bricks along the edge of the road, and Lenny was swinging a baseball bat at rocks that hit the road sign with a clang. And then there was Howard, working on a crossword puzzle on the steps. By the time I got to the front porch, Mrs. Odom was already out the door giving Wishbone a piece of cheese. I sat on the steps for a while, not talking, watching Howard working on his puzzle. The thing about Howard was, you could be with him and talk, or you could be with him and not talk. He liked you either way. We went inside to play Monopoly, which I personally think is boring, but Howard likes it. Wishbone got mud on the floor, but Mrs. Odom didn't even care. She brought us orange Jell-O and coffee mugs and let Cotton jump on the couch. I kept trying to make myself tell Howard about the squinty-eyed social services lady and how the situation at home had improved. I wanted to put a smile on my face and take a deep breath and say, "Guess what? I'm going back to Raleigh." But I just sat there eating orange Jell-O while Howard put another hotel on Boardwalk. Jackie called that night and told me she couldn't wait to see me again. She told me her new boyfriend Jake would take me for a ride on his motorcycle, and she could put blue streaks in my hair if I wanted. "And I'm finally getting my very own apartment, Charlie, so you can have the bedroom all to yourself, and I don't want to go back to Raleigh," I said. Silence. "I said, I don't want to go back to Raleigh," I hollered. "How come?" "'Cause I want to stay here in Colby." "But I thought you wanted to come back." Jackie let out a big, heavy sigh, and then she started with, "I told you this, and I told you that." And what could I do but agree with her? She had told me all that. How I had Gus and Bertha treating me like a princess, and those good-hearted Odoms thanking the good Lord for me at the supper table. How Howard was the nicest friend I could ever want. How I had these beautiful mountains and that little porch under the stars. I just hadn't seen all those things until now. I've been so busy making my wish that I hadn't seen things the way they really were. "But Bertha's going to make things right," I told Jackie. "What does that mean?" she said. "I'm not sure." Then she said she'd call again later, and I went to bed with my stomach so tangled up in knots I couldn't sleep. I laid my cheek against Wishbone's warm side and listened to his slow, steady breathing. I couldn't even think about that clothesline of troubles. Shoot, I had so many troubles that line was liable to fall right over.